All right, we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kathy, would you open some prayer?
Certainly. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day. We ask for your guidance, direction. Lord, just be with the county as we make the decisions that would better help and serve you. We ask all of this in thy heavenly precious name. Amen.
Amen. Welcome everyone to our July 28th Commissioner meeting. Before we get into the official business, we have some very special visitors with us today from Growing Lucasville Opportunities, better known as GLOW. You're doing some great things out there in Lucasville, and we appreciate you guys and the work you're doing and how you're just tackling revitalizing Lucasville and spreading positive energy. And then, of course, your park project, entertainment venue project out there in Lucasville. If you would, if someone wants to come up to the podium, give us a brief update. And while you're coming, I'll just keep talking. This is a project that the commissioners supported last year through the ARPA funds, or was it earlier this year? It all blends together. Through the ARPA funds, $150,000 to go to that project. I know a lot of people see ARPA funds kind of flow through, and they at least see the announcements through the meetings, and they don't really realize behind the scenes how long it takes to get that money, or what has to happen with the federal government to get that money. So now all of those boxes have been checked, and we have a check available. But since you're here, if you can give us a brief update of where you guys are at on the project, we'd love to hear.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to thank commissioners for their support. It's been a tremendous support, and we have made a lot of progress. It's been a lot of hard work, but the project will consist of a shelter, which is pretty much what you guys are assisting with in the funding, and that's going to be hopefully started and under construction this year. And we have planned for the amphitheater, which is a big part of the park project, to hopefully get done in 2023. That portion of the project is not totally funded, but we have a substantial amount of funding for that as well. To date, we have collected over $300,000, including your part of the project, and we probably have a little over 100 more to go to completely fund the construction of the shelter and the amphitheater. And as I said, our hope is to complete the amphitheater or get it under construction in 2023.
Great.
So that's pretty much an update on where we stand on the park. And again, just sincerely thank the commissioners for their involvement in our project, and the project is moving along well and as planned.
I know you have a couple walking trails planned out there, a hiking trail, and then a paved ADA trail. I think at one point we were talking about that you guys, I know we turned you on to some possible grant opportunities. Did you guys actually have an opportunity? I think it was probably a quick window to apply for those, or?
We did not.
I know it was a quick window.
Yeah, we did not get that done. The walking path is still a part of the project. I left that out. As a matter of fact, part of the walking project will be developed along with the amphitheater, because the walking project will go through the amphitheater. And so part of that will be developed in that phase. Walking path is the final phase of the project. Do not anticipate completing that in 2023, okay. But we will have it partially constructed.
Any additional comments or questions?
Any idea what the cost of the walking path is?
You know, I don't have an exact number on that. Our engineer probably does, but I don't have that. I know the entire project is probably somewhere near $450, and that I believe encompasses amphitheater, shelter, walking path. But
okay,
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we'll come down and meet you guys in front of the table and present you with the check. Once again, I'll point out that we made this announcement early, and there's a lot of hoops you guys had to jump through, so we're glad you stayed vigilant. And come on up, all of you. Who's
Like in the middle there.
who's actually taking the money? He's like, yeah, that's good.
good to see you.
Thanks for everything, guys. Make a big difference. It does. You just gotta- That's a great analogy. Okay.
All right, on to business, and once again, thank you, Glow, and,
Yeah.
and I'll just point out, it's been very encouraging over these past several years to see groups like Glow, like, Friends of Portsmouth, like there's other groups out in Otway that are popping up and saying, hey, we're going to tackle our own issues in our own backyard, or we're going to make where we live better, so it's neat seeing these different nonprofits and business leaders and business owners kind of step up and tackle some of these issues.
The reason I brought up that walking path,
Yeah,
and they're saying not 2023, which is next year, which tells me it's 2024. If there's someone out there with $450,000,
there you go.
I just wanted to ask, because you never know. Someone in the Lucasville area may be sitting on a boatload of money and thinking, what could I do with that? And you just never know unless you ask. So I thought I would throw that out there, so somebody may be able to jump on that, and maybe a local business person that would want to contribute. So
Perfect.
all right.
With that, we will get started with our business, and start with the approval of the minutes for June, that is July, 21.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of July 21st, as submitted by our clerk.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And the matter request for appropriation of funds.
Any comments or questions on the appropriation? Hearing none?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And the matter of change order for Pirate Drive Sidewalk Project regarding Leedy Contracting for the Scioto County Engineer.
This is the project we've been talking about, the sidewalk project. This is a change order from Leedy Contracting for additional number 57 stone installed 130 tons at $28 per ton. Total add-on is $3,640. Any comments or questions? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And the matter request for appropriation transfer of funds.
Any comments or questions on our transfers? Hearing none?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter of accepting miscellaneous reports.
Any comments or questions on miscellaneous reports? Hearing none?
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter request for fund transfers.
Any comments or questions on the transfers, fund transfers? Hearing none?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter of certificate of estimated property tax revenue regarding children's services.
This is the certificate of estimated property tax revenue prepared by our county auditor. The estimated revenue, this is a replacement of 1 mil and then an additional 2, so a total of 3. Calculated at $3,600,000. Total tax valuation of the subdivision used in this calculation is $1,230,751,490. Any comments or questions regarding the estimated property tax revenue? And this is a required step as we look at adding a CPS levy for the voters to consider in November. Comments, questions? Hearing none?
Motion to accept the certificate.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter of communication from Access Scioto County regarding service hour reduction.
Hey Barb, how's it going? We had a request from Barb, ACS coordinator, requesting approval for the reduction of service hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is what it's currently, requesting to pull that back from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The reduction would reduce the issue of fuel usage. Barb, if you'd come up, we might have some questions for you here. So what we've ran into, and I'm just looking over your letter, what we've ran into is the maintenance of our vehicles that are typically powered by propane. They look to be being fixed. We are now using our unleaded fuel vehicles. Of course, the cost of fuel has went up 55%. Is what's driving your fuel expense. Also looks like a loss of some staff there, a dispatcher, 2 operators. So it looks like you're having a budget issue and a manpower issue. Am I capturing that correctly?
Mainly manpower issue. Currently, the budget's okay, but, depending on what fuel prices and maintenance on things, getting parts and how long it's gonna take, more parts breaking down. Right now, the current is the manpower.
Okay. By scaling back to 4:30, roughly how many runs and or individuals would be impacted by that reduction in service?
2
A total of 2 people.
people. One is here in Portsmouth,
Okay.
and it's a 5:15 pickup. And the other is a 4:15 pickup, or 4:30 pickup going to Sciotoville.
And if we limited our service, are there other providers in the city or in the county that could help with that
Yes.
pickup? So like Portsmouth Taxi?
Portsmouth Taxi are perfectly able to do that. And one, I believe, we even spoke with her about the possibility, because we did this before during COVID, and she has alternate transportation that she can call if need be, so.
Okay,
It would just reduce mainly the overtime that we're paying. And then right now, with it being summer and then fall, with our operators having vacations, they need to take their vacations. So that's putting more work on the ones that are there. So it's, it's an hour, and it was the best we could figure.
okay,
Besides, we didn't want to shut down Dial a Ride. That's a great service for Willersburg area. That's wonderful up there. We didn't want to shut that down. We didn't want to go too drastic. We just wanted to just take the edge off right now and make sure everyone's healthy, working, and that.
okay. So it looks like we have, sorry, Commissioner
sorry.
Coleman, my last question. It looks like we have a dispatcher and 2 operators that we need, right?
Right.
So we're actively hiring if anybody's listening and needs a job.
22 years of age, good driver record.
That's what I was
able
gonna
pass a
find
drug
out.
and alcohol test. Yes.
No
Knows the
CDL?
Portsmouth area or the Sauter County area.
No CDL?
You can have a CDL, but you don't have to have a CDL.
Okay.
What's starting pay on these
Starting pay is
positions?
$10 an hour, $10.30 if you're CDL.
$10 for the operators and the
10 for
dispatch?
operator and dispatch, $10.30 if you have a CDL. That's another issue we can speak at another time.
Okay.
My only question was, if your manpower increases, will you go
Right.
to a normal?
Right, this is only temporary. Once we get the employees hired and trained, we'll go back to regular service, because we don't want to disrupt service at all. That's the last thing we really wanted to do. This was not what we wanted to do. But after much counsel and prayer, this is what the easiest we could do.
Has the 2 individuals been contacted and told, or
One has, the other's not been contacted. We didn't want it to panic them or
Sure.
anything until we knew for sure what we were
Sure,
going to do.
and then they'll be reminded of.
Yeah, we'll tell them, and we'll even
how
assist
to
them.
get help.
Right, we'll even assist them with any phone numbers or any help that they need getting assistance.
I assume this is an after-job transportation, maybe?
Yes.
At those times? Okay. All right.
Any other comments, questions? I appreciate you coming over, because, I want to make sure to understand what the scope of the impact
Right,
would be.
right.
And While it is two people, it is, you know, they still rely on us. But if there's
Right.
other services available that we can help assist
Right.
with,
Right.
understand the need. Anything else? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no other comments or questions, can I get a motion on item number 8?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is this a request? I mean, this is
This
us
is a
approving the
request.
request or just the communication of it?
It's approving the request.
Approving the request.
So we're approving
I'll second.
okay. We got a first and second?
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution determining to proceed with the submission to the electors of the question of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation according to ORC 5705.03, 5705.19, 5705191, 5705.25, 570526 regarding children's services.
This is the resolution that would put onto the ballot a replacement millage of replacing the current one with an additional 2. We had a lot of conversation at our last meeting, and we had some technical difficulties. We did kind of splice that together, and it's been posted. So I'd encourage anybody to go back and kind of watch that video as well. The prosecutor spoke in terms of what they're doing to work on backlog and kind of streamline and make sure kids aren't in the system longer than they need to be. So they've been working on that. We heard from Tammy Moore Morton, Director of JFS, in terms of what that transition period has looked like and where they're currently at effective July 1. And then we also heard from Director Jason Mantell of CPS. It is clear to me that there's a need. Current funding level, as we talked about last week, basically is for 130 kids. We have roughly 360 in care. That number will be going down as this backlog is cleared out. The main driver of this levy is for the housing cost for children in care. The combination in terms of cost to combine the two agencies, due to combining the two unions, we saw an increase in payroll, about $100,000. But what we'll also see is a lot of their time freed up as they're moved from New Boston to right here by the courthouse. In the current system, if they needed to be in court, literally caseworkers would be sitting down in the courthouse all day waiting for their cases to be called. Now they'll be able to still be working next door, and then the court staff will be able to give them a heads up, hey, in 15 it's your turn. So they'll be able to be more productive and not have a lot of wasted time, wasted travel time.
So charging
Mileage. So even though we saw an initial hit on the 100,000, and quite honestly, the staff deserve it to be at the same level as their JFS counterparts. I think we'll still see more than that in man hours saved just from time in court, time traveling. So we did see that. This is predominantly for the housing cost. We have a lot of stuff working on this, and should everything and the numbers go down and all of a sudden not as many kids are impacted by the opioid epidemic, this is something that can be reduced at a later time. But at this point, this is something that I believe needs to be done to ensure the viability of CPS and the services we provide. If for some reason the levy would not pass, there's going to be very hard decisions need to be made in terms of, one, how many kids can we take into custody? I know some counties have made a very conscious decision to not be aggressive on taking kids out of bad situations. We've heard that story a lot. So that is a possibility. That is not an option in my mind. Kids should be protected. So the other option is, okay, where do we cut services throughout the county? Which departments do we cut and make up this funding, a couple $1 million deficit consistently at CPS? So we're working on fixing a lot of procedural stuff in-house, cleaning up the backlog that we recognize. We have the staff that are on it. It is a longer judicial process than an overnight fix. You're the prosecutor last week. His goal is to have at least all of the children outside of the 24-month mandate to have some sort of resolution by end of year. That would help tremendously. That's 60 some kids, I believe, or maybe 80 some kids. Sorry, trying to go by, 86 kids. So there would be a savings there, and they have some semblance of permanency from a mental health standpoint. But at the same time, when we're looking at finances for that agency, they're still bringing in money for 130 kids. So even, take the 80 kids out, we're still in the 260 range. And of course, longer term, I know the prosecutor working with CPS has goals to make sure that kids aren't even getting out to 24 months, but that's a longer fix. So this is what we're considering today.
Yeah.
Any additional comments or questions?
No, sir.
I think it's important to expound on what you said about this can be reduced in the future. We have just a monumental problem here. The bottom line is it's all about the finances. When you go from 130 to now 365, yes, they're working on the problem. Yes, they're working to get kids to permanency, and yes, we have those kids that are past the 2-year mark. But as you mentioned, it's a judicial process now, and the wheels of justice never turn quick. They never do, and it takes time. And there are procedures being put in place to start that PC or permanent, custody process sooner than 2 years. Unfortunately, there was where there was not enough legal representation, where we had a 0.5 FTE, a part-time attorney for years, and now we have 2.5, because we funded the additional attorneys, and now it's in the prosecutor's realm. But because we was at that deficiency, a lot of times before they ever filed it, we were 2 years, and that just caused it to back up even further. And so there are steps being put in place by our prosecutor to move that a lot faster, to get these kids to a place of permanency, whether, in some cases, they do get to go home to their parents. That does happen. We're seeing a lot of that, and now that's not the case. And I mentioned this in our last meeting, the exposure of fentanyl has just changed this game so much, guys. It really has. The addiction, recovery from addiction takes longer. It's a more difficult process. Any recovery from addiction is a terrible, arduous process. It really is. And fentanyl's changed the game to where we're seeing more and more people addicted. We're seeing this stuff flowing into our country in huge numbers. Our prosecutor, our sheriff mentioned it last week about, it used to be grams, now we're into pounds of product coming into this county, coming down 23, 52, all the different gateways. We're seeing that. So, it is our hope and our prayer that by doing this, and trust me, we don't go into this lightly in any way, shape, or form. Everybody in this room is taxpayers. We don't like, by just definition, we don't like to pay taxes. That's something we don't want to have to do. But unfortunately, it does happen. Our levy amount was very low to begin with. Had not been changed since, I believe the amount was 1995 was when it was first levied. That's a long time ago, folks. And here we are. So we don't take this lightly. And I just want to say that, we're going to watch this very closely, because what we don't want to do is to allow this to become a giant burgeoning account where all of a sudden our expenses are going down as we reduce our numbers, and we don't see that happening anytime soon. I'll just be honest. I don't see that happening anytime soon, because as you mentioned, we could reduce it by 100. We're still at 265. So we want to reduce it. We get it to a place where it's sustainable, then we are going to watch that levy level and do what we can. You can suspend a levy. You can take it to the voters to do away with the levy. gosh, wouldn't it be great to have a day where we didn't have to have this kind of money being spent on boarding? I mean, that's the goal. But right now, we're not there. And unfortunately, unless there's more money coming from the state, and we're not hearing about that right now, this is our option. This is the only thing that we can do. So we're going to watch it really, really close. This is a vulnerable population, and unfortunately, this is a Scioto County problem. It really is. Not just here, though. It's all across the state. But our numbers are large. Our numbers are very large. And we have municipal Cuyahoga County, Hamilton County numbers here in Scioto. So, again, we don't take it lightly. I hate that we're even in this situation. But it is what it is, and we have to take responsibility, and we have to do what's right. I pray and hope that this gets out. I know Portsmouth Daily Times is here. You know, you can only say so much on Facebook, you know, and but there's a lot of people don't look at Facebook. They don't look at Scioto County Daily News. They're just, you know, they're in their bubble and they do their own thing. But we need to get this out, because what we don't want people to do is show up at the ballot box in November and say, what's this? You know, people need to know what is happening, what's going on, and it needs to be really, really clear and concise so people understand the severity of the situation we are in. It's mathematics. It really is. It's math. It's simple math. And unfortunately, we're there, and we need to do what we can. So there will be people, you know, we are available. Anybody want to talk to us about why or how we got to this situation, please ask. Unfortunately, some people, you know, if they don't get the information, they're going to make stuff up. And that's just the way, that's human nature. So if we can, we really want to get the word out there as far as what's going on, no one's going to be surprised that Children's Services has had financial issues. It's been out for a while, okay? But we need to address it, and we need to address it, I mean, really, how do you address something positively that is a negative? You know, and it's a hard thing to do. But I know this, Scioto County voters, Scioto County citizens have always supported those that are at the most vulnerable. You know, our DD is another population that's very vulnerable, and our voters, our citizens have stepped up in a big way and supported that organization in years past. Same way with Children's Services, they supported them in years past. We're asking for the same thing, and then we're going to watch it like a hawk to make sure that it doesn't become one of those things that forgotten, you know, everybody just pays their taxes and it's forgotten. No, we need to be responsible with taxpayers' money, and that's what we'll do. That's our commitment, and we just need to do our best to watch this very closely, very closely. Leave it at that.
Any additional comments or questions?
The only thing I might add is just to cut to the chase is that, you know, the present mill it hasn't been updated for years. It will handle 130 standard cases. We have almost 400 children in placement now. Of that 400, there are many, many, many that have special needs, and you cannot, that number that takes care of 130, that's not accurate, because of those 130, I'm sure they have special needs. So the citizens of Scioto County have a lot on their mind. They have to make a very important decision when it comes to voting for this. And as Brian said, and Commissioner Powell, we've always taken care of our people that are vulnerable, our elderly, their children, and I'm sure that they will do so. But keep in mind, if it doesn't pass, we have to make very difficult decisions. So it is what it is.
If there's nothing else, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
All right, we got a motion? We got a second?
And I'll second.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Ms. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resignation from the Adams Board,
We've received a letter of resignation dated July 12th, 2022 from Lavette Barnes Mosley, stating that after careful consideration, she's decided to resign from the Adams Board. Lavette is I'll just share, Olivette's an awesome person. She does a heck of a job down at city council. She does a lot in the community, senior games. She's been an asset on that board, and I know that she was kind of struggling with potential conflict of interest as the city determines whether or not they want to do standard of care or whatnot, and the different stances the Adams H board was taking on that item. So I think wisely she decided to step down from that role after careful consideration. I thank her for her experience on that board and being willing to serve on that board. And I know she'll keep doing great things in the community. So it's a big loss, but at this point she has resigned. Any additional comments or questions?
I was fearful this would come as a result of some of the things we were hearing out of council. I know that there was some advice there that to part themselves from any potential conflicts. But she has been great. She's wonderful to work with. You mentioned the games that she does. The senior games that brings so many people in our community. It really does, and she does such a wonderful job. And she served a very important purpose on that board, brought great perspective to that board. I hate it, and I'll just say it out loud, we really need to consider her for other boards, as they come, because she does do a great job and brings a wealth of experience and knowledge to the mix. So, I'll leave it at that, and we're sorry, very sorry to see her go.
Yep.
She did a good job.
I'll just add my appreciation to Ms. Burns Mosley for her dedication, and we can't thank her enough.
All right. With that, can you get a motion to accept the resignation?
I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In a matter of agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and Randall Mullins regarding handicap renovations to the Scioto County Health Department.
This is an agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Randy Mullins, architect, for architectural services for handicap renovations to the Health Department in the amount of $12,920, just for the engineering cost.
Yes.
With the movement of the Health Department over to the annex, there are some ADA issues that we need to resolve, one being the ramp, and I think a couple restrooms need addressed as well. So this is the engineering for that, and then of course it'll be a project that will need to be bid out at a later date once we have bid documents. Any comments, questions?
When the annex was built, it was built private, so it wasn't under, I think it was built 1 year before ADA kicked in. So the ramp is 1 inch off. So we gotta fix that, and it's gonna be neat. It'll be very nice when it's done. And then the restrooms, we were 6 inches off on the restrooms, so we have to refigure that. Even though they've always been marked and noted as ADA compliant, it's tight. It's really tight. So in order to make it nicer for the citizens utilizing the health department, this would be a great addition. And then Braille. We need to add Braille on some things to make it a little bit more efficient. Elevators, things like that, we need to add Braille. So we're going to be doing that. And we'll soon have that information to be able to move forward as far as bidding that work out. So.
All right. Additional comments, questions? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and the then and now certificates in the total amount of $1,286,850.42.
Any comments or questions on the docket? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of authorizing the clerk to advertise notice to bidders, this is for 2 bridge replacement projects. One is on White Gravel Road and the other Duck Run and paving project.
Okay, so you heard that it's a request to advertise the bid for the Duck Run Road bridge replacement, and then also the White Gravel Road bridge replacement, and Duck Run Lyra Dogwood Ridge paving. That'll be advertised in the paper for 3 consecutive weeks. Comments, questions? Hearing none?
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter of resolution authorizing the execution of the local jail capital project grant agreement regarding the Sauter County Sheriff.
This is the grant the Sauter County Sheriff's Office has been awarded from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitations and Corrections. This was under Senate Bill 310, the Capital Improvement Local Jail Project. This is in the amount of $1,513,216. The purpose of this project is for the jail renovation of the former corrections facility located at 526 5th Street. It's in Portsmouth. It is necessary for the Sauter County Board of Commissioners to enter into a local jail capital project agreement with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction concerning the Sauter County Jail facility. While we're considering this, there is some pending legal terms to be determined by the parties. So should the board choose to adopt this resolution, I just ask that it is adopted pending the legal terms are worked out between the attorneys. Appreciate Sheriff Thurman's work and efforts on this project. This would be for a female specific jail that would offer services not just to Sauter County but surrounding counties. Female beds are hard to come by. This is a project that Sheriff Thurman has been, I believe, interested in since day one in office, trying to figure this out, was able to go after and capture this money to work on the renovation of this jail space. It'll create opportunities for the Sheriff's Office to, one, create jobs, but also be able to generate revenue as he's leasing out space to other counties. So thank you, Sheriff Thurman, on the beginning of this project. You got a lot of work ahead of you, but we appreciate your efforts to this point. Any additional comments? Questions? Hearing none.
I make a motion to adopt pending legal terms being determined by the parties.
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
And a matter of resolution to employ legal counsel in accordance with ORC 305.14.
This resolution allows the Sauter County Board of Commissioners to employ outside legal counsel. This is specific to a workers' compensation issue, VSSR complaint, and due to the specialized area of law associated with this matter, it is necessary to hire outside counsel that has had substantial experience in handling workers' compensation VSSR complaints. This would be for Dinsmore Shoal. I want to thank Ryan, our risk manager, for working on this. He handles our workers' comp. So thank you for your efforts, Ryan, on tackling these problems as they come up and getting the right expertise in the room to help us with these sometimes pretty complicated issues. So thank you. But this is to hire Dinsmore Shoal. Comments, questions? Hearing none.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye. Before we move on to questions, we're joined by our treasurer. If you'd like to go ahead and present, I know it's investment advisory reports at 10:15, but
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Walk slow.
Thank you, sir.
Interest rates.
And an unstable copy.
Thank you.
Interest rates.
This is the quarterly investment advisory report. Income for the second quarter of the year was $33,674. Gives us a total of $55,698 at the halfway mark this year. The big news yesterday was the 75 basis points
Yep.
rise. That was record-breaking because their previous meeting, they had a 75 basis point rise, so 1.5% in 2 meetings. That'll help us, but further down the road, we don't really have anything maturing until November of this year. And what we do is we always take that money and reinvest it into new brokered CDs. So those will be substantially more than what we've got. I mean, we went through some 0.5, 0.05. So I continue, or advise that we continue our protection of principal policy first and mostly, and stay with our current plan of investing in CD accounts that are FDIC insured. And that's all I had. If anybody had a question.
Comments, questions?
No?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, in the matter of accepting second quarter report from the Scioto County Treasurer for Investment Advisory Committee for year 2022.
Any comments or questions on accepting his report? Hearing none?
Motion to accept?
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That is our business agenda. We now open up to questions for items on the agenda. Anything in the room? Colin, let's make sure you get a microphone.
Yeah, Colin Dockman, Vernon Township. I am also the chair of the Scioto County Democratic Party and a foster parent myself. The reason I say that is because it is something that I'm passionate about, and I also know that Rodney Barnett, my counterpart in the Republican Party, is passionate about it. And I would like to offer that olive branch. If there's anything to work together on, it would be our children. So maybe he and I can put our heads together and see how we can get this across the finish line as far as putting the education out there that's needed. That's about all I got on agenda.
I appreciate that, Colin, and you're right. This, and I said it last week, and I'll say it this week, the Children's Services is not a Democrat issue. It's not a Republican issue. It is a children's safety issue. And as a county, we will either make the decision that we want to protect our children, or we will make the decision that we don't. We will either take care of them or we won't. And in terms of the commissioners and people on this side of the table, we'll make sure it's funded one way or the other. The decisions get a lot harder if the citizens turn down a levy, but we will take care of kids. And I think Commissioner Davis has even said, you know, if this bankrupts us, he will be happy to be the last one to turn the lights out as we leave the room, because our kids are that important. So thank you, Colin, for that. It is going to require effort from both parties to educate our electorate. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Hi, Casey McCreary, Portsmouth Daily Times. I want to thank the commissioners for making it clear that the issue with Children's Services is not a political issue. I also want to thank the commissioners for letting the public know that our children will be provided for, even if it means making the difficult decisions. What I'd like to ask is, are you able to clarify for potential voters what some of those difficult decisions may need to be should this levy not pass?
Yeah, it's a great question. So if the levy would fail, the money has to come from somewhere, and it comes from the general fund. So this year, we did have ARPA funds available to help get through the windfall the shortfall this year. That was up to $2 million. There's still, I think, $600,000 that we have not shifted from ARPA to cover that just yet. It will happen. We've already received the projection, so that'll happen. But ARPA monies is one-time money. So while we would have liked to use that on projects and things that are more lasting, it is something that helped us get through at least this year. ARPA money disappears eventually. It actually all has to be allocated by the end of next year. So there's not even an option just to hold on to it to kind of ride the storm for several years. So it's very specific on how soon we have to have that allocated. The hard decisions is, start looking across the county at some of the services you enjoy. Start looking at public safety, start looking at transportation, start looking at, literally we would have to go to every office holder and say, hey, what do we have to do to get to the bare bones necessity? Several $1 million is a big chunk of money to come up with, and it's going to take an effort by all office holders, not just the commissioners. Fiscally, we're responsible for it, but we would be asking all office holders to evaluate their services within office and then figure out a percentage of budget to cut. That's the very real reality of what we have to deal with. So the specifics of what would disappear, I can't give you that. Hopefully we don't have to go there, but I think office holders should be having that in the back of their mind. Like, hey, what do we have to do without? Can we do this with less people? Can we, what does that service level look like going forward, just to make sure we're paying the bills? So it's a good question. It's a tough question. But that it would come out of the general fund, which funds county government. And then you'd also see things not happening, such as economic development. We would be harder, sorry, Robert's eyes, but places where we have the opportunity to spend money, it's going to be harder. It's a harder conversation to have. Do we have the money or not to invest? And thankfully right now we do. And but if something happens, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. You're welcome. Any other questions in room? Anything online? Any items off agenda?
Yeah, Sheriff, this is Colin Dochterman again, Vernon Township. The $82,000 that was given to Sheriff Thurman last week, I'm just wondering if that was a part of the ARP funds that were approved on December 16th of last year?
That was specific grant
That was a
funding
long time ago.
plus match, wasn't it, Jen? I'm looking at her clerk
Yeah, I would have to look at it.
to
There's so
see the
much
exact breakdown of that.
Yeah, there's so much that goes through here that I
We'll
don't
get you that,
know.
Colin.
So you're thinking that that's maybe separate funding? The reason I ask is it was over $400,000 for 10 cars. And a quick follow-up on that, is that changing as you guys are considering going to the fleet format? You guys had talked about, I think approved, 10 new cars for the sheriff department, and I just wonder, are you revamping that plan?
So the fleet agreement, which is still kind of working through the legal master agreement, so prosecutor's office and Enterprise is working through that. That is looking at kind of what their current fleet is and what needs to be replaced right now. The problem, and this is across the country, it's not just a SoDa County issue, the problem with fleet and ordering cars right now is we literally have to order cars potentially next week or the week after for them to be delivered in a year and a half or so. So while they have an immediate need for cars now, the fleet agreement and the lease agreement is truly entering into an agreement saying, hey, what can you help us procure through your purchasing and through your program? And then we're still waiting on that asset for a year, 16 months, whatever it is, 18 months. So while we're talking about Enterprise, there's not an immediate fix there. It is setting up a lease program that will save the county, was it $1.5 million over 10 years? Because of the way they lease it, and then there's of course lower maintenance with newer vehicles, and then they're also monitoring a sell-back program, so you're selling the vehicle to get more money out of it versus waiting until the wheels fall off and then you take $200 or whatever has been past practice. So they have this calculation that they work, but it's not an immediate fix. It's something we have to sign, soon to be able to even see and take advantage of it, sometime next year, hopefully.
So to the best of your knowledge, that $474,000
It does not.
is still sitting there, just waiting for you guys to figure out what the route forward is?
The $400,000 is for vehicles
They had already moved forward.
that they've already moved forward with and already ordered, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where exactly the 80, I don't know, if we can have a clerk look into that from last week.
I looked when you asked about that. I don't think it was in last week's meeting. It might have been the week before.
We presented a check, that was a
Yeah,
picture,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
the
that's
check
what it was.
presentation, so it was, yeah.
Yeah, but what that was the result of, I don't have
I think it
exactly
was a
in my
grant.
head.
I don't think it was.
said
ARP grant, in the post, it said ARP grant.
It was, but I don't know if all of it was,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
it was I don't think it was through our money though, was it?
We'll double check.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Nothing online? All right, Commissioner Davis, do you have anything additional?
I do not.
Commissioner Coleman?
Sorry, I do not. Oh, I do. I want to offer congratulations to one of our employees here. We just heard great news that they're expecting their first child, and
Hey,
Yeah.
Big Daddy! Ryan,
and his wife,
the voice
Audrey,
behind the camera.
expecting a little girl in January.
Yes.
And he has the Big Daddy mug that he carries around proudly, so.
Somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right with him. It
Yeah.
doesn't leave his side. So,
Yeah.
congratulations.
It's true.
I don't have much to say
I
other
do
than,
have one.
we have some school systems that are hurting right now, when you look at, New Boston and South Webster and kind of the tragedy we're dealing with kind of back to back within the loss of one child, potential loss of another. So keep those communities and their families, in your prayers, especially as, I think the search efforts are still continuing there on Soda River. And it's important as we're talking about recreation and getting people out on the water. It's also important to talk about, being mindful of Mother Nature, and we've even floated the idea of swift water rescue and, potential of what that looks like. As we're getting more people on the water, we need to be mindful of safety. Bad things happen, but how can we as a government respond and have the tools to respond? So just keep those families in your thoughts. It's and those schools, they're going to be going back to school all of a sudden, and one of their peers is not going to be sitting in the room with them potentially. So I know they had a vigil last night. I don't know how many people went, but I know there was a vigil last night in South Webster. Still holding out some hope there. I don't know if there's been any additional news this morning, but so we'll kind of see how that unfolds.
Yeah, say a prayer for the first responders too, those that have been working in very difficult conditions. I spoke with Chief Lowry last night with the dive team, and it's zero visibility when you're working in the Soda River, and you never know what kind of obstructions you're going to run into underwater. So just keep them in your prayers, and the volunteer squads. There's a boat team from out of this area that's in, and they're going to be back on the water this morning. They suspend operations at dark, of course, because it's just so hard. But let's just lift up those families. There's a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, and we'll see what materializes in the next day or two. But yeah, just I know they gave their all. Our local dive team, they've given their all. They've done everything they could. Had other assets come in from Wellston and other places, but so far nothing. And they continue to work the problem. So they are everywhere from Alexandria Point to Lucasville. They're working. So.
Okay, it just dawned on me. Yes, that check was that was the one that Heather sent up here. Yeah, so yes, it was part of the 400 and some thousand, because they just got those vehicles. So,
Okay.
yes,
So that was
it
paying for the ones that
Yes.
finally showed up?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I was wondering why she's so quiet over there. She
Yeah.
just all of a sudden-
Researching.
Yeah.
No, I just,
She's that good. Yes. She's all
Thank
over
you
it.
for that.
You're welcome.
If there's nothing else, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi, thank you so much for watching again, and enjoy your weekend.